Hello! Today I am bringing you a book to TV show adaptation wish list, because there are some series out there that I would rather see on the small screen instead of the big screen, basically. And I've got 6 here that I think would make good TV shows. And the first one is going to be the one that I think is least likely to happen. But I really want it to happen just because I wanted to have a second chance. And that is the Camp Half-Blood Chronicles by Rick Riordan, because Percy Jackson is still so special to me. But there is obviously a huge amount of books in this world. There is 10 of them. And the likelihood of adapting 10 books is just such a small chance, I feel. And I just would be worried they were going to ruin it, but I wish I could see this on a TV screen that's really well developed and has all the characters the right ages and has all the storylines done really well. But this is the one I think is least likely to happen, so I put this first. Next up is one that I also think is pretty unlikely to happen, but this one is one of the ones I want to happen more than anything in the world. And that is the Keys to the Kingdom series by Garth Nix. I'm currently rereading this series, and it's just so good. Not enough people understand my love for this series. It's about a boy who is chosen kind of randomly to become heir to the universe. And I know that sounds really cheesy, but it's not, because he goes through such a change across the series, and the way he was selected was just because he was going to die. It just made him a good candidate, and this series has so much plot, so much developing, so much. It would be so beautiful as well. Like, the second one has some really beautiful scenes at the end, and in my head I can visualise them. They would look so cool on a TV screen. Seriously. Next up is one that is in the works, but I'm going to say it anyway, in case it doesn't happen. And that is the Gone series by Michael Grant. This is meant to be happening, so I'm very excited. And if you don't know what this is about, it's about a group of kids that are left in the town after all the parents disappear. They are trapped inside a dome. And I know a lot of people are thinking, oh, that sounds like Under the Dome. Well, this is basically the YA version, but it's cooler because it has super-powered humans. So yeah, Gone is going to be great when they make it eventually. And there is, because these books are so, like, they are kind of chunky books. They're all, I think, over 400 pages. I mean, this one's over 500, and I think possibly one of them might be under 500 pages. They're all pretty hefty. There is so much plot, there are so many characters, it would just be so cool. I would love it so much. So yeah, Gone needs to happen. So when the little details seem to be trickling out from Michael Grant on Twitter that it's happening, they've got a writer, it's just happening very slowly, and I want to see it happen. Come on. Now, the next one is one that I've only read the first book in the series, but I have seen half of the film that was adapted from this book. And while the film I actually don't think was awful, what I saw of the film wasn't awful, having read the book, I can see it working as a TV show, because there are so many books in the series. And that is the Vampire Academy series by Rochelle Mead. There are 6 books in this series, and I always feel that the longer series tend to make better TV shows. I mean, things like Game of Thrones is making a better TV show because it's longer. You know, there is a big books, and those it's quite a long series. And I think the Mortal Instruments for Shadowhunters is going to make a better TV show because there are more books. So they have more length of time to develop the characters and the storylines, which is what I think the film could do with. And this was such a fun read. I think this could, like, become better than, say, The Vampire Diaries. If they did it properly, it would be a rival show to that kind of thing, and it would just be so cool. I can imagine it being like a Buffy kind of show, where it's funny, but has all these dark bits and the kick-ass bits. It would be so cool. So, yeah. This one is kind of up there. I think it should happen. Mainly because it deserves a second chance, because I think everything deserves a second chance, most of the time. I mean, Shadowhunters is obviously on this list, but I'm not going to show it to you because it's happening and we've got so much information on it. But yeah, that's also one that I want to be like Buffy. Make it like Buffy, McGee and Ed Dector. Make it like Buffy and we'll succeed. Next up is one that is one of my personal favourites as well, like Keys to the Kingdom, and that is The Raven Cycle by Maggie Stiefvater. This series is so beautifully crafted and the plot is so woven in that I think in a film you would lose the intricate details that are needed to tell this story. So that's why I'm not sure to see it as a TV show. These books are not the longest. This isn't like the same as the others where I think long series. This is one where I think the details need to be shown. I think that can only be done in a TV show. I don't think the series would need to be very long. I'm thinking like mini-series for each book. And I think they could do it so beautifully. It would just be so cool. And it would just... oh, the characters in this are so amazing. I think giving people the extra time to see the characters would mean the events in the later books that happen would be so much more impactful. It would be so cool. Make this one happen as well, guys. And lastly is another one where I think it deserves a second chance, and that is the saga of Darren Shan / the Search for Freak series. There was a film of this, and that film was pretty bad. As in, one of the worst book to movie adaptations I've ever seen. And I've seen a fair few bad ones, but this was one of the worst. I think where they went wrong was deviating from the plot of the books. The plot of the books it's a 12-book series, but they aren't massively long. So there's 4 bind-ups that are of this kind of size, 3 books in each one. I think they tried to cram way too much into the film, because the film was not long enough to explain all of this. So much happens in this. I think a TV show would be how you should tell it. There is just so much plot that could be done. And unlike the others, I think you could make this to a full American season. I know American seasons are at 22 episodes. And the rest of these I think would have to be mini-series because of, you know, just there's books that are this thick. So you need to have mini-series so you don't over-embellish, exaggerate plot points. Which is what they're doing with Shadowhunters. They're making it 13, which is good. So this one, I think you could actually make it into a 22-episode season because these books are thick and lots happens. I think this is the key difference. Lots happens. You would be able to do 3 books in one go. It'd be one season for 3 books. I think that'd be really impressive. And it would have a young cast, and it'd be really cool, and it would be really cool. That is my wish list, I think. Along with Shadowhunters to be excellent, so we get all of them. But, you know, that's happening. And it's in the works right now. It's more in the works than gone. So, yes. So, that was my book to TV show adaptation wish list. I'll see you soon. Goodbye.